This is ABC 7 News at 6.
Hello everyone, coming up on ABC 7 News at 6 tonight, we'll tell you about an invasion of emerald ash borers in one Bangor neighborhood. And we'll also take you down to Dexter, where a lot of people are excited now that some lights have arrived for the football field there. We'll have those stories coming up, but first the big story again, it's on the campaign trail. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Craig Colson, sitting in tonight for Beth Jones. Well, Senate candidate Graham Plattner is now out of the race, announcing he is suspending his campaign after he was accused of sexually assaulting a former girlfriend. Plattner has denied the allegations and had refused to drop out until last night. He released a video making the announcement and claims he was the victim of a ploy to get his name off the ballot. In the video, Plattner denies the allegations, saying, quote, large forces have been working against him, accusing him of the worst thing that a person can do, and claims that it's not remotely true. He says there's no coincidence the story was released just days before he became the official nominee that would have been final on July 13th.
We're suspending campaign operations. I want to make clear, though, I intend to file my paperwork to withdraw.
Well, it's now a predicament for Maine Democrats, as several announced they're now seeking the Senate seat. Well, since Plattner's announcement, potential replacement candidates have been making announcements that they would like to be the Democratic nominee to run against Susan Collins. And here are some familiar faces that you have seen throughout Maine's political landscape, and most recently running for governor and the 2nd Congressional District. 6 candidates have filed paperwork, and we are hearing that some of other names may be added to the list very soon. We'll have more on that coming up in just a few moments. Well, with Plattner suspending his campaign, Democrats have been left in that precarious position with only weeks to finalize a new nominee. Our Alex Schley tells us what experts say is known about that process.
Maine Democrats are in an unprecedented position after Senate nominee Graham Plattner announced Wednesday he's suspending his campaign. According to the University of Maine Political Science Department Chair Mark Brewer, the process will be guided by state law in the Maine Democratic Party charter.
This is a very state-specific process. If this were a different state, it would almost certainly be a different process.
Maine Democrats announced they will hold a one-day 600-person nomination convention to select Plattner's replacement. Brewer, however, says a lot remains unclear.
We don't know how those 600 delegates are going to be selected. We don't know what the voting rules of the convention are going to be. We don't know where it's going to be. We don't know when it's going to be.
In a statement, Maine Democrats say they will be releasing a timeline and details for how the nomination process will be moving forward. Since Plattner's announcement, several Maine Democrats have submitted paperwork to be considered for the nomination. For an updated list on candidates who have filed, go to our website, foxbangor.com. Alex Schley reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And as of this broadcast, Plattner has not filed the necessary paperwork to officially withdraw from the race. However, he has until Monday to do so. Until he does so, replacement candidates cannot begin the formal state process of getting 250 signatures to get their names on the ballot. Well, as the Democrats begin to figure out the process to name a replacement, they will have plenty of nominees to choose from, as we heard earlier. Our Callie Warren joins us now live in the studio with the latest as several candidates announce they will be campaigning. Hello there, Callie.
Hey, Craig. Well, you're so right. As we've been reporting throughout this newscast so far, there has certainly been an influx of folks that are hoping to clinch that candidacy. Now, that includes former Maine State Senate President Troy Jackson, the former director of the Maine Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Dr. Nirav Shah, and Secretary of State Shenna Bellows. Now, all 3 of those Democrats ran in a pretty close race for governor, but they all ended up falling just short of that primary nomination. However, they are now all announcing their campaigns for Senate. Let's take a look at what those 3 had to say. And we'll start off with Shah, who says that this election is vital to Maine Democrats.
This election come November will be a referendum on Susan Collins and her close association with Donald Trump.
Well, Troy Jackson says that he shares many of the same political ideals as Plattner, and he hopes that that's going to get him some support as a candidate.
My past work on this issue has been, exactly what the people in this movement have been wanting.
And finally, Bellows says that she's focusing on her progressive values throughout this new campaign.
because I have a long track record in leading on progressive issues, whether it was fighting for marriage equality, leading on legalization of marijuana, fighting for voting rights.
And as you said earlier, Craig, certainly a long process for the Maine Democratic Party, and we might even see more folks getting into the running in the coming days. Back to you.
Sure, we'll be hearing from all of them coming up. Thank you, Callie Warren, for that report. All right, in other news tonight, 2 people were injured and 1 was life-flighted after a car accident in Charleston this afternoon. Charleston Fire Department responded to a car accident near 515 Dover Road where 2 people did sustain injuries. 1 person was airlifted to a nearby hospital and the extent of their injuries unknown at this time. Multiple crews were called in to assist, including Dover Fire and Rescue, Corinth Fire and Rescue, and Mayo Ambulance. Charleston Fire Chief Ethan Amaro says crews say the response time was quick and both people were extracted from their vehicles within 10 minutes.
No difficulties responding to the scene. Actually, we were able to get here and we were able to start work right away, and actually we're able to minimize the time it took to get them out and get them treatment.
Well, as of 2 p.m., the road was closed and the cause of the accident is still under investigation. We are hearing now, though, that the road has since reopened. Well, 2 people were injured but were able to escape a burning boat on Moosehead Lake. It happened near Sugar Island back on July 7th. The Greenville Firefighters Association says the Maine Warden Service responded and found the vessel fully involved when they arrived. They say the 2 people that were on board jumped into the water and were assisted by nearby boats who took them to safety. Both were burned. They say 1 person was evaluated at the scene and released, and the other was taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The boat was towed to Lily Bay State Park, where it was fully extinguished, and officials, as you can see there, say it was pretty much a total loss. Well, state police are investigating a serious crash in Washington County. Spokesperson Shannon Moss says it happened a little after 4 p.m. on the Dixie Road in Trescott Township. Moss says the preliminary investigation indicates 24-year-old Christopher Davenport of Northfield was traveling southbound when his vehicle left the roadway. According to Moss, Davenport was not wearing a seatbelt and was ejected from the vehicle. He was the only person in the vehicle at the time. Davenport was taken to Down East Community Hospital and then later transferred to Maine Medical Center in Portland with very serious injuries. Moss says speed and alcohol appear to be factors in that crash, and the investigation remains ongoing. Well, 2 men convicted of a murder in Washington County are asking for a new trial. Emmanuel Ramos and Juan Ortiz, formerly of Concord, New Hampshire, were convicted of killing 17-year-old Brandon Guerrero in Machias. His body was discovered on a homeowner's property on High Street back in 2021. Police say his death was the result of a drug-related dispute. 5 people were charged in connection with Guerrero's death. Ramos and Ortiz were the only 2 that did not plead guilty to murder and robbery. A judge decided today that there will be a hearing in November to decide on their motion for a new trial. A Massachusetts man has been arrested for allegedly trafficking in cocaine in Belfast. 31-year-old Juan Antonio Arias Almonte was arrested Wednesday. Maine DEA Commander Lowell Woodman says for the past several months, law enforcement has been getting information about a man that was traveling from Massachusetts to the Belfast area selling substantial amounts of narcotics. Agents had only been given an alias that the individual was using. He says they got credible information on Wednesday that he was on his way to Belfast again with a significant amount of cocaine. Woodman says agents conducted undercover surveillance in a parking lot and identified him. And he says when they searched Almonte's vehicle, they found 170 grams of cocaine with an estimated street value of $17,000. He's now being held on $50,000 cash bail. Woodman says more arrests are anticipated in that case. All right, well, it turned out to be another hot and steamy day today. Some folks may have even seen a stray thunder shower rolling through the area. Looks like more sunny weather is on the way, though. Let's turn things over to Chase Ropanak. Yeah, that's who's doing it, to see our first look at the forecast.
Thank you very much. Your first weather is brought to you by Tick and Mosquito Guard. We stop ticks and mosquitoes, now serving Washington, Hancock, and Penobscot counties. We are pet safe and have eco-friendly options available. Call today for a free quote at 207-263-3421. All right, as you saw for today, another hot one out there with upper 80s here in Bangor for today. Some of us in the low 90s down there as well. Portland at 90, Sanford at 92, Freiburg at 93. We did stay a bit cooler up north for today, upper 70s and low 80s throughout Clayton Lake, Presque Isle into Holton. So for tonight, we're going to keep the showers and thunderstorms ongoing as we continue throughout the night. A few strong storms early on, but into the early morning hours. More rain chances further north. We can see another strong storm or two to start off the morning with some loud thunder right around 6 to 7 a.m. As we get into tomorrow afternoon, partly cloudy skies. The thunderstorm chances do lessen, but again, there will be a line of isolated showers and thunderstorms for the central and eastern portions of the state for your Friday afternoon. So overnight for tonight, cloudy skies out there. Chances for showers and thunderstorms all across the state. We'll have lows staying not so low, hanging out in the upper 60s for tonight.
All right, thank you, Chase. We'll see you a little later on with your full forecast. And still ahead on ABC 7 News at 6, Maine has been working for many years to stop the spread of emerald ash borers. But now the invasive insect has been found in a Bangor neighborhood. We'll hear from city officials who are now taking steps to stop that invasion. Coming up.
It's a big, big deal. Summer is a big deal at Toyota. It's the final days of Toyota's Big, Big Deal Summer Event, where you could get 5.99 financing on the all-new, fuel-sipping, all-wheel drive RAV4 Hybrid with an up to 609-mile total driving range. Summer's a big, big deal at Toyota, the longest-lasting brand with the best resale value. So see your New England Toyota dealer. It's a big, big deal. Toyota, let's go places.
When outdoors, some people like it hot and some people like it cold. However, when indoors, most people like it comfortably warm. Consider a Rinnai direct vent wall furnace from McCusick Petroleum Company to provide you with comfortable and efficient heat. They also offer sales and service on many brands of furnaces, boilers, and water heaters. McCusick Petroleum Company delivers oil and LP gas to homes and businesses throughout the Pequot region. If you'd like more information on pricing or service, call or stop by our office in Dover Foxcroft.
Keep your boat safe, functional, and beautiful with a Shoremaster boat lift from Hammond Lumber Company. Your Hammond sales rep can help you choose the perfect lift for your boat. Shoremaster's exclusive Whisper winch offers the industry's smoothest and quietest operation. Add speed and convenience with a Shoremaster lift motor. And Shoremaster's modular Infinity design makes it easy to upgrade with accessories when you're ready. Take your boating experience to the next level with a Shoremaster boat lift from Hammond Lumber Company.
For the best selection in classic and contemporary furnishings, stop by Richard Parks Furniture on High Street in Ellsworth. Handcrafted New England-made bedrooms and dining rooms, imported Scandinavian recliners and upholstery, more than 40 lines of furniture for the home and patio. Richard Parks Furniture is your #1 stop for quality, functionality, and well-designed furniture at affordable prices. Richard Parks Furniture.
Discover Richard Parks.
132 High Street in Ellsworth.
Discover Richard.
The fun never stops at Wheel.
You got it! It's a car! And the crowd goes wild. A truly historic bonus round on Wheel of Fortune. Somebody could win $500,000. Where are you going? To pass out? Exciting giveaways ahead, like fabulous vacations, and let's manifest another $1 million winner. You're a millionaire!
Oh my God! Weekdays at 7 on ABC 7.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. The Maine Bureau of Consumer Credit Protection is cautioning consumers to be wary of a relatively new type of financial product called a shared appreciation mortgage or home equity investment. They say the products are often marketed as a way for homeowners to access cash without taking on additional monthly payments. Well, according to the Better BCCP, the arrangements may seem flexible, but they are complex agreements that can lead to significant or unexpected costs. They say anyone who does these contracts receives an upfront payment in exchange for a share of their home's future value, which is repaid as a lump sum and can be very expensive if the home value increases. The payment is typically due when the home is sold and the homeowner dies or the contract ends, which can be as little as 10 years, so be careful with that. Well, an invasive species of beetle has made its way into a neighborhood here in Bangor. Our Sam Miller with that story.
Invasive emerald ash borer beetles first appeared in Aroostook County back in 2018, and have officially made their way to Bangor. The neighborhood of Capehart is the latest area to face an infestation, and the Bangor City Council has taken action. The council's forestry division marked trees with an orange dot that will be injected with insecticide, and those marked with an orange slash are deemed hazardous and removed as a precaution. Urban Forestry Manager Ben Arruda shared his insight about the damage the beetles have done in Capehart.
We have removed 12 completely dead, infested trees, as well as injected close to 60 trees within just this neighborhood alone.
The emerald ash borer was brought over from shipping materials from Asia and targets native ash trees by burrowing into the bark and consuming the living tissue of the trees. Arruda highlighted that the trees decay extremely fast due to the beetles, which causes problems for public safety.
By the time someone who doesn't know much about trees notices this decline, it's much too late to prevent any further damage. And then when the specific ash trees are dead, they become extremely brittle and pose a threat to public safety and infrastructure.
Arruda says the city is increasing planting diversity, and for every tree removed, they will plant at least one. In Bangor, Sam Miller, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And still ahead on ABC 7 News at 6, the latest from the Maine Amateur and the Red Sox back in action. All the day's sports news right after this.
Still getting glitched by cable internet? Enough already. Fidium is 100% fiber internet. Ultra reliable, lightning fast. So everything you do online works exactly like it should.
Zach, go to bed.
Fiber up to Fidium. Get plans starting at only $30 a month at fidiumfiber.com.
Do you have a wet basement, nasty crawl space, settling foundation, sinking concrete, or clogged gutters? I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems, all things basementy. For over 30 years, thousands of homeowners throughout Maine and southeastern New Hampshire have trusted TC Hafford. Basement waterproofing, crawl space repair, stabilizing foundations, concrete leveling, and gutter installation. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems for all things basementy.
Critical investments are strengthening Maine, thanks to Senator Susan Collins. The biggest investment in our rural hospitals in decades. New investments for working waterfronts, like the breakwater in Eastport. Investments to help homeless veterans find housing. Investments for Maine to train new doctors and nurses. Thousands of investments, thanks to the power of Senator Susan Collins. Call Senator Collins and ask her to keep delivering for Maine.
Cancer affects everyone, but there is hope. Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center's Champion the Cure Challenge. Make a difference for our loved ones facing cancer at Champion the Cure Challenge, where every dollar raised helps patients in our own backyard. Walk, run, or cycle August 15th. Join the motorcycle ride or car show August 16th. Take the challenge to surround family and friends in cancer treatment. Celebrate survivors, remember loved ones we've lost, and lift up our community. Join us. Visit ctcchallenge.org.
Hey, Maine, think you're wicked smart? Well, put your knowledge to the test with me, Ken Jennings, on Jeopardy! Weeknights at 7:30 on ABC 7.
Welcome back in, folks. The 2026 Maine Amateur Championship wrapped up on Thursday as 18-year-old Michael Madden from the Woodlands Club looks to go wire to wire as he came into the final round with a 4-stroke lead. The group started on the back 9, so we go to hole 6 coming down the stretch. Before we get to the final group, how about Scott Nevers of Valhalla? He fires an absolute dart at the pin from 142 yards out. He would tap that one in for birdie. He finished with a score of 69 on Thursday, tied for 5th at the end of the tournament. We go to the final group now. We picked them up on hole 5. Fellow 18-year-old Jack Quinn of Augusta Country Club would make a charge. He has it within 2 strokes because of shots like this. Now it's Madden's turn. He lands just outside his opponent's ball. Quinn would two-putt, and Madden buries it to add to his lead. We go to 7. Madden's tee shot went in the drink. He finishes with a bogey. Quinn has a birdie putt to bring Madden's lead just 1, but he pushes it past the cup and the lead is now 2. It's Quinn on 8 now, and again, a putt to gain ground and make it a one-stroke lead for Madden on the final hole, but he buries the edge and wanted that one badly. And then on 9, the final hole, Madden puts an exclamation point on the win with a long birdie putt as the 18-year-old wins the 2026 Maine Amateur Championship. Let's go ahead and look at that final leaderboard. Obviously, Michael Madden, the 18-year-old, with the win at 8 under par. Jack Quinn finished in second, just 3 under him. Eli Spalding, the back-to-back winner, at 1 under, and then same thing for Jacob Moody. He's 1 under as well. Scott Nevers finishes 1 above par, and then Kellen Addix with a 1 over as well. All right, once again, our Jack Webb was on site at Sanford Country Club for Thursday's action. So, Jack, how did things go down there?
Max, they went great. Beautiful weather all week. It's the calm after the storm now down here in Sanford just a couple hours ago. The 9th green behind the camera was flooded with people watching Madden win the Maine Amateur Championship at just 18 years old. Guys, we're talking about a kid who just graduated from Cheverus High School a couple months ago. It really is an incredible story. He's going to play Division I golf at Siena next fall, and Quinn really did challenge him today multiple times. Quinn had a couple putts there on the back 9 to bring it within 1 stroke. Madden just weathered the storm. We talked about the mindset that he had yesterday, and I think that's the most impressive part of that win. We'll have an interview with Madden in the lates for you at 10 and 11.
All right, Jack, thank you for that. Let's check in with the Red Sox now, who took on the Chicago White Sox on Thursday. Patrick Sandoval makes his first MLB appearance since June of 2024 and his Red Sox debut, 2nd inning. Junior Perez goes down swinging. Next batter, Sam Antonacci also goes down swinging. Sandoval finished the day with 5 strikeouts. Still no score, so to the 4th inning we go. Caleb Durbin steps up and takes Anthony Kay for a 2-run home run deep into the fan section there as his 9th of the year, in the Sox lead 2-0. 5th inning, Andrew Bentinetti hits this one short, and that gives the White Sox a chance to get home, and all of a sudden, it is 2-1. We head to the 8th inning. Miguel Vargas hits this one long, and Duran is able to track it down on this sliding catch. Oh my goodness, I mean, what an effort here from Duran. Saves the extra bases from being filled, and the score remains 2-1. And it would stay that way as the Sox go on to win their 6th straight, the best stretch of the season so far for them. That's all the time we have for sports. Here's your full 5-day forecast.
All right, thank you very much. We did warm up for today with some more very warm temperatures, upper 80s here in Bangor with low 90s. Some of us in the low to mid 90s near Freiburg at 93 for you today. Now, as you see further up north, you were a bit cooler than the rest of us, but still very comfortable for a nice warm July day with upper 70s and low 80s for you in Clayton Lake, Presque Isle, and Holton out there for this afternoon. For tonight, our lows are not going to be so low. We're looking at upper 60s here in Bangor along your coastline as well. Could be right around those low to mid 60s further north, but still very warm all across the state for tonight. Into tomorrow, we're still looking at another warm day, mid 80s here in Bangor. We are going to have a wind switch. Those winds will be coming from the northwest for tomorrow, giving you an idea of that cold front passing through. So yes, there are going to be a few more showers and thunderstorms, but likely we'll have more chances on that tonight rather than going into tomorrow. So the average highs this time of year right around 80 degrees. Still going to be above that for tomorrow, but right around average for your Saturday. This will be our coolest day going into your weekend, right around 80 degrees. Back into the mid 80s Sunday, and we look to see some more warm temperatures into the upper 80s and low 90s for Monday into Wednesday. Those warmest days being Tuesday and Wednesday, hanging out in the low 90s. There will be a front in the area for Wednesday and the Thursday. Coolness back off into those mid 80s. But as we see for winds out there, pretty calm conditions out there for tonight, even though a few showers and thunderstorms will pass on by. Here comes those northwest winds for tomorrow. They can get a little breezy at times, gusting near 20 miles per hour in some spots. But that's only during the afternoon hours. Winds will really lighten up again going into tomorrow evening and, of course, into your Saturday morning as well. But we still can see a breeze then for Saturday from the west, right around 20 miles per hour at times. So again, showers and thunderstorms ongoing throughout the night. Some can bring some heavy downpours, but otherwise, widespread showers and a few rumbles of thunder overnight tonight across the northern tier of the state into the Presque Isle region. Now, as we go into the early morning hours, there can be a strong thunderstorm or two. Doesn't look very strong on these models, but other models have been hinting at a nice thunderstorm near the Bangor area around 6 to 7 a.m. So it could be pretty loud. Wake-up call for tomorrow morning to head into your Friday, but otherwise, You can see partly cloudy skies throughout the rest of the day, and here's that backdoor cold front that can provide a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, meaning not everyone's going to see a storm for tomorrow, but if you do get underneath one, it shouldn't last too long, right around 10 to 20 minutes, providing a few heavy downpours for some of those storms, but otherwise we'll be in the clear. So as you can see into your Saturday, we're going to have some high pressure settle in. We will still have partly cloudy skies, but many of us staying dry with those temperatures right around 80 degrees, a little bit of relief from those upper 80s and low 90s we've been seeing. But for tonight, not so low temperatures hanging out in the upper 60s, scattered showers and thunderstorms across the state for tonight. The good news is they do look to stay non-severe, so no issues there. Into tomorrow, though, we'll have highs back in the mid 80s, a few morning storms that get through, and then the afternoon, primarily seeing isolated showers and thunderstorms for the central and eastern portions of the state. Those will travel south towards the coastline for tomorrow evening. And again, they're going to be isolated in nature, so not everyone is going to get a storm tomorrow. Northwest winds right around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Could get a little breezy at times, gusting near 20. Taking a look at your extended forecast, we will slightly cool off to start off the weekend. Highs back near 80 compared to those upper 80s out there for today, but we will warm back up into those temperatures, mid to upper 80s for Sunday into Monday. Our next chance for showers and thunderstorms looks to be Tuesday, but those highs right around 90 degrees.
Looks great. Thank you very much, Chase. We'll be back with some big news for Dexter today. Those lights for the football field finally arrived.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
Jado Highlands Golf Course, nestled in the woods of Lincoln, just a short drive from Bangor or Holton. Designed for players of all abilities, Jado features everything a golfer desires. 18 fully irrigated holes, driving range, practice green, and a golf shop with instruction available. Jado maintains quality course conditions while proudly displaying some of the most scenic views in Maine. Challenge yourself to a round of golf surrounded by the beauty of Maine at Jado Highlands Golf Course.
Hello, this is George Whelan, founder of Down East Direct Cremation. Over the years, you have come to trust Down East Direct Cremation as your cremation experts, creating the standard for simple, affordable, and respectful cremation care. Through these times of turbulent economy, COVID, rising energy costs, and inflation, Down East Direct Cremation has maintained our price. Unfortunately, due to the ever-increasing cost of doing business, I have been left with no other choice than to raise our price, effective September 8th, 2026. I am sorry. Of course, all current guaranteed mortuary trust agreements will be honored with no additional charges. You or anyone who is thinking of prepaying with Down East Direct Cremation will have until then to lock in our current price of $975 complete. For more information or to schedule an in-store appointment, please call us or prepay online using the button exclusively at downeastdirectcremation.com.
For the first time ever on live television, the Stonington Lobster Boat Races are coming to ABC7. Fast work boats, big horsepower, and Down East pride on full display. Watch Maine's lobster fishermen put their boats to the task in one of the state's most exciting summer traditions. Don't miss the live debut of the Stonington Lobster Boat Races. Sunday, July 12th from 11:30 to 2. The Stonington Lobster Boat Races, live on ABC7.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
Well, as I said, it has been a big day for residents of Dexter. There's a lot of excitement in town now that the new lights have arrived for the high school football field. Dexter came in third place last year while taking part in the T-Mobile Friday Night Lights Challenge. They didn't win the big prize, but they did take the money awarded by T-Mobile and then launched a fundraising effort of their own to finally buy the new lighting equipment, raising more than $150,000.
It's going to be a very much different experience for this community, not playing a Saturday afternoon football game. It's going to be a Friday night, so that's just in and of itself is going to be a huge accomplishment for our community.
The Chimbro Company was on hand today to begin digging holes for the lights, and the plan is to have the installation completed by the end of the month. Gudrow says there are already 4 Friday night football games planned for next fall. They also plan to use the field for for soccer and field hockey games, turning it into truly a multi-sport facility there in the town of Dexter. And they have the local people to thank for that. Local residents and some other businesses in the area pitched in, and they came up with that extra money. Thanks to them, they'll have that new lighting equipment that they'll be using for years to come. All right, that's it for now, folks. We do thank you for joining us. I'll be back here tonight at 10 o'clock on our Fox channel with all the latest news, and then once again at 11. In the meantime, we hope you have a wonderful evening.
Lie.
Your internet experience feels different, ultra reliable, lightning fast. With Fidium 100% fiber, everything you do online works exactly like it should.
Night, bud.
Zach, go to bed.
So is cable internet still slowing you down? Enough already. Fiber up to Fidium. Get a 2 gig plan for only $65 a month at FidiumFiber.com.
A car accident can happen at any time, and it can completely disrupt your life. It may feel like the sky is falling. That's when you call the twos. I'm your go-to guy.
Call 222-2222.
Cancer affects everyone, but there is hope at Northern Light Eastern May Medical Center's Champion the Cure Challenge, where every dollar raised helps patients in our own backyard. Make a difference. Walk, run, or cycle August 15th in Brewer. Visit ctcchallenge.org.
This is Fox 22 News Tonight.
Well, good evening and thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Craig Colson, sitting in tonight for Beth Jones. Coming up tonight, we'll tell you about an invasion of emerald ash borers in a Bangor neighborhood. Also, a lot of crime stories to tell you about, but really the big news of the day continues to be from the campaign trail. As we heard last night, Senate candidate Graham Plattner is now out of the race, announcing he is suspending his campaign after he was accused of sexually assaulting a former girlfriend. Plattner has denied the allegations and had refused to drop out until last night. He released a video making the announcement and claims he was the victim of a ploy to get his name off the ballot. In the video, Plattner denies the allegations, saying, quote, large forces have been working against him, accusing him of the worst thing that a person can do, and claims it's